Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. We were in the third Brahmanam of the third chapter, which is called Bhujyu Brahmanam. Bhujyu is the person who is questioning Yajnavalkya here. We already saw the very detailed introductory bhashyam to this Brahmana, where Bhashyakara discussed how moksha cannot be a karma phala, and also negated the view that somehow doing nitya karma along with upasana and not expecting any particular result for that, you will gain moksha. Like this, there was a proposition that Bhashyakara actually negated that with lot of seriousness, but in the process he presented what can be the karma phala, under what categories it can be there, and how moksha does not fall into any of those categories, and moksha is nothing but gaining jnanam. The difference between bandha and moksha is only ajnana. So ajnana nivritti alone we are talking about, and that itself is moksha also. Once the ajnana is destroyed, whatever is already there, it is there. So that is the understanding here. Now actually we are continuing with the whatever the story now. Okay. So atha hainam bhujyuhu lahyayanihi papracha yajnavalkyeti hovacha. So the bhujyu, right thereafter, okay, the previous person, he has become silent. Thereafter, this Yajnavalkya is being asked by this bhujyu, who is a lahyayani. Lahyayani means lahyaha is lahyasya apatyam, the son of lahya is lahya, and lahyayanihi is the son of that lahya. Okay, that means he is lahya's grandson. And that person asked, he called Yajnavalkya again to get his attention. Then he tells a story about himself. He says, Madreshu charakaha paryavrajama te Patanjalasya kapyasya griham aima. Grihan aima. So here he says, we were all traveling in Madra Desha as the ones who had taken the Brahmacharya Vrata, or Charakaha can also mean Advaryu, like that Bhashyakara says. So we were some Vaidikas traveling in the Madra Desha. Then we came to the home of one Patanjala, who is also a Kapya. Okay, Kapya again is the one who has come in the Kapi Gotra. Okay. So this Kapya's place we came. Then what? Tasya asid duhita. So this Kapyaha, Patanjalaha, he had a daughter, Gandharva Grihita, who was possessed by a Gandharva. Now the Gandharva here can be taken as any Amanushya Devata. Okay, that somebody who is not human, but somebody who had some special knowledge and all that, who is a celestial. So it can be the Gandharva indicates that this person has some alaukika jnanam, that otherworldly knowledge is there with this person. He has possessed, he or she, I don't know, possessed the daughter of this person. So then these people became very inquisitive about who is this guy who is possessing. So tam apritchama kaha asiti. So they asked him, who are you? Then he said, Saha abravit sudhanva angirasaha iti. So Angirasaha, I think. Okay, Sudhanva Angirasaha iti. So Sudhanva is my name, and I am from the Angirasa Gotra again. Okay, Angirasaha. Like that, he answers that. Then this Bhujju, he wants to actually show off in a way, and also frighten Yajnavalkya that he has got some special knowledge which Yajnavalkya does not have. So because of that, Yajnavalkya will now be defeated and all that. That is the idea here. So he says, Tam yada lokanam antan apricchama atha yenam abruma. Interested in knowing the extent of this loka, our loka, whatever the world which we are experiencing, correct? What is the extent of this universe, this world? So that is the topic which is under discussion with this Gandharva. During that time, these people asked the Gandharva a question. What is that? Kwa parikshita abhavan iti. Where are the parikshita people? This is the question we asked the Gandharva when we were discussing the extent of this entire universe, the world. Okay. Then what did the Gandharva answer? He does not say that here. Okay. So he says, no, this is what we asked the Gandharva, and obviously the Gandharva, who is an Alaukika person, who has special knowledge, divine knowledge, whatever you can say, has given us the answer. Now I am asking you. So, Kwa Parikshita Abhavan Satwa Prichami. So, where are these Parikshita people? I am now asking you, hey Yajnavalkya, Twa Prichami Yajnavalkya. Again he repeats that, Kwa Parikshita Abhavan Niti. So, now I am asking you that question. So, this is how this Bhujju is asking Yajnavalkya. And he thinks at this time that Yajnavalkya is gone. I will get all the cows. Okay, maybe that's the thought. Now let us see what Bhashyakara says. Okay, here also Bhashyakara gives a little bit of introduction to this particular Vakya. Previously, that big introduction was for the Brahmana. So now, Atha Anantaram Uparate Jaratkarave. So the previous Brahmana is the Jaratkarava Brahmana. So that person he asked his question and now he is silent. He has stopped asking any more questions. Bhujjuhu iti namataha lahyasya apatyam lahyaha tad apatyam lahyayanihi. So Bhujjuhu, the one who is known as Bhujju, who has the name Bhujju, and also he is lahyasya apatyam is lahyaha, and tad lahyasya apatyam lahyayanihi. So he is basically the grandson of Lahyaha. That person, Papracha, he asked. He told, first he said, Yajnavalkya iti hovacha. So he told, hey Yajnavalkya, he drew the attention of Yajnavalkya. Then Bhashyakara gives some introduction here. Adav Uktam Ashwamedha Darshanam. So in this Brahmana also, in the answer we will see, Yajnavalkya will answer that this Parikshita people went to wherever the Ashwamedha Yajna, whoever has done Ashwamedha Yajna, who has the phala of that Ashwamedha Yajna, they go, there only this Parikshita people also went. Like this, he is going to give the answer. So, Bhashyakara is now connecting this with the, if you go back to the first chapter, first two Brahmanas, there we are actually talking about the Ashwamedha Upasana. So that's why he says, Adav Uktvam Ashwamedha Darshanam means in the beginning of this Brhadaranyaka Upanishad only, we started with the Ashwamedha Upasana only. Okay. And the phala for that is twofold. It can be either Samashti or Vyashti Palascha Ashwamedha Kratuhu. So depending on how well you have done and all that, either you will become independent Devatas themselves, or you become Brahmaji or Hiranyagarbha or the Samashti. Samashti is the, for whom all the Devatas also are organs of whom. That is the aggregate or the total Samashti. So either you can become Hiranyagarbha or you can become one of the Devatas like Agni, Indra, etc., who are all the organs of this Hiranyagarbha. okay, are the parts of the Hiranyagarbha. So like this, you can either get a samashti result or a vyashti result. And again, this Ashwamedha itself, if you are a Kshatriya, you are qualified to do the kratu, the actual karma, and along with that, upasana also you have to do a lot. Or kevala jnana sampadita. He says jnana samuchitaha va, kevala jnana sampaditaha va. Kevala jnana sampaditaha is the one which was actually talked about in the first chapter, first couple of brahmanas, where even those who are not directly qualified to do the Ashwamedha yajna as a karma can still do it as an upasana. Okay, that is the Kevala Jnana Sampaditaha here. And this Ashwamedha, whether you do it, the actual Ashwamedha and upasanas along with that, or you do it purely as a upasana, it is the greatest in terms of karma. He says, Sarva Karmanam Parakashta. So this is the greatest karma. This is ultimate you can do with amongst all the karma. Ashwamedha is the biggest. And in the Shruti, in the Smriti also it is said, Bruna Hatya Ashwamedhabhyam na param punya papayoho iti hi smaranti. So again, Bruna Hatya means, Bruna here is actually a learned Brahmana. So if you kill a learned Brahmana, that is a very big papa. And even though Ravana was an Asura, okay, or a Rakshasa, but still he is a son of Brahmana. So we even say that even Rama had to do some prayaschitta for Brahmahatya, because Ravana is considered to be a Brahmana also, and he was a learned also in one way, because he was able to chant Samaveda and even get boons from Shiva. So even a Brahmana who is not really a Brahmana, in the sense from the way he acted, but even then it was considered to be some kind of a papa. But otherwise, a really learned Brahmana means Brahmanas are supposed to be the ones who do not take up any alms and all that, correct? They are the intellectuals, and they are supposed to have the, other than sannyasis, Brahmanas also are supposed to follow the greatest ahimsa. So those who are committed to ahimsa and a life of austerities and study, if you go and kill them, then that is a very big papa. Okay. And Ashwamedha is the other end, the greatest punya. Okay, Ashwamedha abhyam na puram na param. Greater than that, nothing is there. With reference to punya and papa means you are talking about Ashwamedha and Bruna Hatya. This is there in the Smriti. Tena hi samashtim vyashtischa prapnoti. So by this Ashwamedha, which is praised so much, by that only you get either the samashti result or the vyashti result. Okay. And then Bhashyakara himself explains what is the vyashti result, what is the samashti result. He says, Tatra vyashtayaha nirjnata antaranda vishayaha ashwamedha yaga phalabhutaha. So the vyashti result is known, well known. Nirjnata means nishchitena jnata. Known very clearly, ascertained. They are all the antaranda vishaya, the anda, the entire Brahmanda, if you take, that is the samashti. And within that, all the devatas who make up this Brahmanda, they are the vyashti. And they can also be, you can become one of those devatas by doing this Ashwamedha Yajna. So Ashwamedha Yaga Phalabhutaha, they are in the form of the results of doing this Ashwamedha Yaga. And then the samashti, Mrityuhu asya atma bhavati, etasam devatanam ekaha bhavati. So this again 127 Brhadaranyaka only, you can go back and see. The second Brahmana also talks about the Ashwamedha Upasana. There all these devatas themselves are the vyashti, and amongst them whoever is the self of even all these devatas, correct? Mrityuhu asya atma, he is Mrityu. Mrityu is a word used for Prajapati or Hiranyagarbha here. So that Mrityu is the one who is the Atma of even all these devatas. He is the one. Okay. That was said there also. And this Mrityu only has all these other names. Bhashyakara is pointing out. Mrityuscha Ashanaya Lakshanaha Buddhyatma Samashtihi Prathamajaha Vayuhu Sutram Satyam Hiranyagarbhaha. So who is this Mrityu? Whoever has been mentioned here as Mrityu is nothing but the one who has this Ashanaya, means he had hunger. Okay, this is also said there because to show even if you attain the status of Hiranyagarbha or Prajapati, even that person, if he feels hungry, means he is also a samsari only. To point it out only, this Ashanaya, this hunger and all is talked about with reference to even this Hiranyagarbha there. So who has the characteristic of being hungry, and but who is also Buddhyatma, means here he's all knowing really, and who is the total or aggregate, the collective, and who is the firstborn, who is also used, the word Vayu also used to refer to him, Prana, Vayu, etc. Or Sutratma also is another word used to refer to the same. Sutram, Satyam also is used. And Hiranyagarbha also is another word. All these words are used with reference to this Mrityu. And for this Mrityu, Tasya Vyakritaha Vishayaha. So the Mrityu also is originally in Avyakrita form. He only becomes then, he is alone. He feels alone also. That also comes there. And then he wants to become many. Okay, to get out of that loneliness, etc. That also is pointed out as some pointing out to the samsara. If you don't have Atma Jnanam, even though you may become Prajapati, you will be only a samsari. But then the Prajapati came to know that I alone am there. There is no second thing from which I need to fear, etc. So he had Atma Jnanam, like that also it comes. But initially he had this feeling and then he wanted to become many. Like this, the Srishti Prakriya also starts there. So he is for him, all this entire Vyakrita Jagat is a Vishaya. Okay, these are all the objects of cognition, you can say. And who is the Yad Atmakam Sarvam Dvaitakatvam. So all this Dvaita Prapancha he is the very nature of all these things, or one who identifies with all these things, okay, as the self of the entire Dvaita Prapancha which is there here. So also he is yes Sarva Bhutantaratma Lingam Amurta Rasaha. So he is the self of all the beings. He is the very nature of all the objects in the Dvaita Prapancha. And he is also called Linga Sharira or Linga and all that. Because of him only everything has sentiency or consciousness, awareness. And also called as Amurta Rasaha. These words also were there. If you go back to even the second chapter, all these Murta Brahmanam was there. You can go and see. So the Amurta Rasaha means one who is the essence in the form of or formless essence, you can say, correct? One who is formless but one who is still the essence of all the beings. Amurta Rasaha, intangible. And all the beings are doing their karma. Okay, Yad Ashritani Sarva Bhuta Karmani. So all the karma or activities of all the beings are all done with this Hiranyagarbha as the Ashraya, or as the basis, or as the locus, whatever you can say. Depending on this Hiranyagarbha only, everybody is doing their karma. And also Yaha Karmanam Karma Sambadhanam Cha Vijnananam Paragatihi Param Phalam. And he is the one who is the Paragati, he is the ultimate end. Okay, for what? For those who are doing karma. And also Vijnananam means those who are doing upasana and karma. Okay, those who are connected to only karma. Those who are not going after moksha or jnanam, the ultimate or the greatest end which they can attain is only this Hiranyagarbha Padavi, the status of being Hiranyagarbha. So that is the samashti. So both vyashti and samashti, Bhashyakara has explained here. Now, why he is even talking about all these things? Because tasya kiyan gocharaha kiyati vyaptihi sarvataha parimandala bhuta sa vaktavya. So now this Hiranyagarbha is there, he is the highest and all that. But what is the range of this Hiranyagarbha, the dimensions? Okay, how big and how all around. If you take like a parimandali bhuta means how big is this mandala or a globe? Mandala can be translated even as globe or whatever the field, correct? So all around sarvataha parimandali bhuta vyaptihi. So how much he is pervading? What is the limits of this Hiranyagarbha, his loka, etc.? That has to be said. Why? Because tasyam uktayam sarvaha samsaraha bandha gocharaha uktaha bhavati. Bhashyakara says. So if you say the dimensions of this Hiranyagarbha, then you would have said also that is the limits of the bandha also. That much only you can go within your own bondage. Okay, samsaraha sarvaha samsara. So all the entire samsara and the range of this bondage itself would have been said. How big, being a bound person, how much you can attain or how where you can go. Okay, that is the bandha gochara. That would have been said. The limits of that would have been said. But moksha and jnana phala is separate from this. Again, to show that only all these things are being discussed here. So tasya cha samashti vyashti atma darshanasya अलौकिकत्व प्रदर्शनार्थम आख्यायिकाम आत्मनः वृत्ताम प्राकुरुते. So this Hiranyagarbha is also the both samashti and vyashti. He is the total aggregate. He is also the self of all the individual devatas. To show that, and also to show his alaukikatva pradarshanartham means what? He is beyond the loka which we can experience. So whatever human beings and normal beings can experience, there is a loka. Loka itself means lokyate iti loka, correct? It is within your experience, within your cognition. But the Puranas and even the Veda is talking about something beyond that which cannot be experienced by us normal jivas. So to show that also, alaukikatva pradarshanartham, that which is beyond our cognition, okay, or something like a black hole, we have to say currently, because scientists say black hole is where nothing escapes that, and we don't know once something enters the black hole, what happens, we don't know, because no stimulus can come out of it. You cannot really experience it, correct? Although we are inferring it, something like that. So there is alaukikatva is there. The Hiranyagarbha is like that. Okay, this akhyayika, this story is being started, and it is also his own personal experience. This Bujju is telling a certain story, correct? That is from his own experience. Atmanaha vrittam prakurite. He is telling about some incident which happened in his own life. Tena cha prativadi buddhim vyamohishyami iti manyate. Also, why is he telling this? He thinks that he can confuse his opponent, who is Yajnavalkya here. So this Bujju, by telling a story from his own life incident, thinks that he will also confuse Yajnavalkya in the process, and therefore he can get all the cows. Okay, that is the idea. So now the actual meaning of this is the introduction Bhashyakara has given. Now he goes into the actual meaning. Madreshu, Madra Nama Janapadaha. So there is a state or a locality area called Madra, and Teshu Charakaha Adhyanartham Vratacharana Charakaha Charanat Charakaha. So the word Charakaha could be that those who are doing Adhyayana, who are brahmacharis, they have certain vratas. So those who are following that vrata are called Charaka. Or Advaryoho, Advaryaha, Advarya Vaha. Va. Okay, so the Advaryavaha means those who are all Advaryus. They can also be called as Charakaha. And all these people, whether they are brahmacharis under some vrata or those who are Advaryu, means the Yajurveda Ritvik is called Advaryu. Advaryavaha is the plural of that. Paryavrajama. So we were all going around, okay, on a tour or whatever, yatra. Paryatitavantaha, like that Bhashyakara translates that. Paryatanam is a word even used in regular Hindi also nowadays, correct? Paryatan has come from this only. So they were all going around on some kind of a tour or a yatra. And at the time, what te Patanjalasya te vayam paryatantaha Patanjalasya namataha kapyasya kapigotrasya grihan yema gatavantaha. So we who are traveling around like this, we came to a person called Patanjala, who is a Kapyaha, means who is from the Kapigotra. To his house we reached, okay. We went to his house. And then what is there? Tasya asid duhita gandharva grihita. So there was a daughter of him who has been possessed by a Gandharva. Now Gandharva meaning also Bhashyakara is Gandharvena amanushena satvena kenachit avishta. So sattva can also mean a ghost and all that, some kind of a spirit. So one who has been possessed by amanusha means a non-human spirit, okay, means it's a special. Normal human spirits are all not that very intelligent, but this Gandharva means he is a very highly knowledgeable celestial spirit, okay. So this girl was possessed by that. Or Gandharva can be even taken as the Agni Devata, Bhashyakara says. Gandharva vadhishnyaha agnihi ritvik devata. So Agni, who is the ritvik of all the devatas, that devata, Agni Devata also could have possessed. Because the kind of information which they have got from the Gandharva is like that. So based on that, he is saying. That's what Bhashyakara himself, he says that Vishishta Vijnanatvat avasiyate. So the Vishishta Vijnana is there, he says. With this Gandharva, some special knowledge is there. That's why we have to consider the Gandharva like this. So nahi sattva matrasya idrisham vijnanam upapadyate. So normal spirit, normal jivas who have become a spirit and who are possessing, they will not have this knowledge, he says. That means this is a special spirit, okay, who has possessed this daughter. Tam sarve vayam parivaritaha santaha apritchama. So that Gandharvam, we all sat around him and who is possessing that girl, and then we asked him, what did they ask? Ko asiti. So ko asiti is there here, okay. Bhashyakara adds a little bit more. Kastvam asi. Who are you? Kin nama. What is your name? Kim satatvaha, what is your nature? What kind of a being you are? Then he said, on being asked, Saha abravit Gandharvaha. So the Gandharva said then what he said, Sudhanva namataha, Angirasaha Gotrataha. So by name I am Sudhanva, by my Gotra I am Angirasaha. Then what? Tam yada yasmin kale lokanam antan paryavasanani apritchama. Okay, now they are having a discussion with this Gandharva. So when they were at the time when they were having a discussion about the extent of the lokas, okay. So antan means paryavasanani, means the limits, the boundaries or whatever, how big. When we were asking about that, at that time we asked this Gandharva a particular question, okay. Atha enam Gandharvam abruma. So we asked, when we were having a discussion and when we were asking about the extent of all this lokas which we can experience, we asked this Gandharva a question. What is that? Bhuvana kosha parimana jnanaya pravritteshu. So these are the people who are seeking to know the bhuvana, the world, Okay, kosha parimana means what? The whatever is the limits or the whatever is the covering this entire world, correct? How big it is, that parimana. So those who have taken the effort to know that, sarveshu pravritteshu sarveshu atmanam shlagayantaha prishtavantaha vayam. Also they are praising themselves, or they were happy about the good fortune, that because they wanted to know this and now they have this Gandharva to whom they can ask this question, correct? So they are fortunate enough to ask this Gandharva. So they are also feeling good about that. Atmanam shlagayantaha prishtavantaha vayam. Okay, so we asked this person how did they ask, or what did they ask? Katham Kwa parikshita abhavanniti. So we asked, where are these parikshita people? Then what? Sacha Gandharvaha sarvam asmabhyam abravit. That is, this Bhashyakara adds. Then what? The Gandharva told me everything about where these parikshita people are. And so I have this special knowledge now from the Gandharva. So tena divyebhyaha maya labdham jnanam. So from this divine celestial being, okay, divyebhyaha maya, by me, it has been gained, this knowledge. Tat tava nasti. This is the idea about of Bujju. Bujju thinks it is not there with Yajnavalkya. So tat tava nasti. It is not there with you. That's what he is implying by saying all this. Ataha nirgrihitosi. So you are defeated. That is his iti abhipraya. That is his opinion. Thinking like that, he has told all this story only to imply that. Okay, I have special knowledge from the Gandharva which you don't have. So now I am going to ask you the same question and you will be defeated. Saha aham vidya sampannaha labdhagamaha gandharvat tvam prichami yajnavalkya. So that's what. So the one who was talking to that Gandharva is me, who has gained this knowledge from this Gandharva, special knowledge. And now I am going to ask you what? Same question. Kwa parikshita bhavan tatvam kim janasi. Do you know that where these parikshita people are there? Hey Yajnavalkya, Kathaya, tell me. Again he says, Prichami, Kwa parikshita bhavan niti. Where are these parikshita people? So like this, he questions. Then Yajnavalkya is cool as ever. He knows the answer, in fact. He is not perturbed. So he says, Saho vacha uvacha vai saha uvacha vai saha agachan vaite tad yatra ashwamedha yajinaha gachanti iti. So he says coolly, this Gandharva would have definitely said this, like this Yajnavalkya says initially. So uvacha vai saha Gandharvaha uvacha vai, he would have said this only. And that vai pada is said because to remember that something which happened before, correct? That is the vai. Again, gachan vai means indeed he would have said this. What? Te tad yatra ashwamedha yajinaha gachanti iti. They went wherever the ashwamedha yajna, whoever does the ashwamedha yajna, wherever they will go, there only these parikshita people also would have gone. So even the name, this parikshit also can be taken as those who have destroyed all their papa. Okay, paritaha dukham papam shiyante yena. And by doing what karma, those are the people who have done the karma by which they have destroyed all their papa. That means punya is pradhana. By that only they are going to all these places. That is the idea. That's why the word parikshit also is used for them. So here he says that wherever the Ashwamedha Yajinaha, those who have done the Ashwamedha Yajna have gone, there only these people also would have gone. Now Bujju is not satisfied with that. He knows it is the correct answer, but still he wants to know whether Yajnavalkya knows. So he says, Kwa, he is asking, Kwa nu Ashwamedha Yajinaha gachanti iti. Where do they go? Tell me that. Then Yajnavalkya, to answer that particular question, he now talks about the extent of the Hiranyagarbha Loka itself, or the Brahma Loka. So he says this entire Brahmanda, what is the extent of that? So it says Dvatrimshatam Vai Devaratha Ahni. Okay. So Devaratha Ajnani Dvatrimshatam Vai Ayam Lokaha. So this Loka, whatever is the Loka which we can have, correct? Which we can experience is 32 times the Deva Ratha Akhniyani. Means 32 times the Devarata Akhni means in one day or 24 hours, Devarata is the Aditya Ratha here. The chariot of sun, how much it can travel in 24 hours or one day, 32 times of that is the parimana of the loka which we can experience. Beyond that also some certain things are there. They are all called aloka. In fact, in the Purana, in the Vishnu Purana, Bhagavata Purana and all that, they talk about a loka giri or a parvata. Like Meru Parvata also we talk about. There is a loka parvata. So the loka parvata, in that the loka part, that loka parvata is surrounding the entire world which we can experience. Beyond that is where the devatas are all there. That is called aloka, which we cannot directly experience. And they are all enjoying under the foothill, under the foot of this mountain and all that. Some references are there like that. Bhashyakara also will talk about that. So the extent of our experience only is this much. Then beyond that also certain things are there. So that is also said here. Tam samantam prithivi dvihi tavat paryeti. So the beyond that, twice this 32 times, correct? All over, again this twice that 64 times of what the sun's chariot can go all around is called Prithivi, or Prithivi Tattva is there. Okay, that is all part of the Alokana. Then Tam Samantam Prithivim Dvistavat Samudraha Paryeti. Then beyond that again twice that also is the Samudra Tattva is there. So that big is the Brahmanda. When we talk about it, has two kapalas. Anda kapala we say. It is like a cup, half cut. So Brahmanda itself is not one anda. They actually talk about anda. One anda is like this, and on top of that another is there like this. Two half cups kept like this. Correct? That is how Srishti itself is visualized in the Purana, and when we talk about the Brahmanda. And between the two cups also there is some small space, it seems. Through that only you go to the other side. That is where the Brahma Loka is really there. Okay. So the Devas are there in between, and even those who are having the Murta, those who are having forms, even Devas also are there only up to a particular point, and beyond that only Vayu can go and all that. That is the idea here, who is Amurta really, who doesn't have any form. So that's talked about here. So now up to this Anda Kapala has been described, one part of the Anda, or the cosmic egg they call it, correct? Then the other part between the two, there is a very small opening or space. So that is now being described by Yajnavalkya. He says, Tad yavati kshurasya dhara yavadva pakshikayaha patram. Okay. Tau anantarena, tavan antarena, akashaha. Okay, so he says now between the two, this Andakapala, there is a very, very small space which is like the edge of the razor, correct? That thin, that opening. Or you can say it is the like the mosquitoes wings are there, correct? That how thin it is, like that. That is the analogy given here. It's a very, very small opening. So tavan antarena akashaha. So the akashaha here is that shudram. Bhashyakara says it's the opening. That small opening is there between these two andakapalas, and through that only these people have to go, and then they pervade. The other side is the Hiranyagarbha loka. Okay. So tan indraha suparnaha bhutva vayave prayachate. So how do these people go through that smallest of the small openings? Means first this Indra. Indra is Maheshwara, like this Bhashyakara gives the meaning. Indra is not Devendra here. Indra is the Ishvara, Parameshwara, or the Parameshwara in the form of the Agni, which is there in the Ashwamedha Yaga. That Agni first becomes the Suparna, a bird called Suparna. Okay, some celestial bird, okay, divine bird. That bird only first takes all the jiva of all these people. But the bird also cannot go beyond that, through that opening, which is so small, correct? Because the bird has a certain dimension and all that form. It cannot go through that. So then it hands over all these jiva to the Vayu Devata. And Vayu makes all these people as part of himself or oneself. So Vayave Prayachata, they are all given to the Vayu. Then Tan Vayuhu Atmani Dhitva. So he then makes all these people as part of himself. Okay, Atmani Dhitva. Tatra Agamayat. Then he takes them through that opening, because Vayu does not have any form. So Vayu can go through that. And where does he take them? Agamayat, he sends them there. Where? Yatra Ashwamedha Yajinaha Abhavati, wherever the Ashwamedha, whoever has already done Ashwamedha and have gone there only these people also go now. Iti evam iva vai. So this is the story. Okay, up to this. So Yajnavalkya says this. So the Vayu takes them through that, and that is where this Ashwamedha Yajinaha, they go there, and that is where the Parikshita people also are there. And once they go through that, and then they pervade all over and become either they get either the Veshti Phala or Samashti Phala and all that we already saw. Now with this the story is ending, but now Shruti directly praises the Vayu Devata and gives an upasana based on this also. So sa Vayumeva prashamsaha. So this Gandharva would have praised this Vayu only to those people. Now Shruti says, Tasmad Vayuhu eva Veshtihi, Vayuhu Samashtihi. So Vayu is the Veshti, all the individuals are nothing but this Vayu only, and the whole, the Samashti, the aggregate total also is Vayu. And one who knows this, okay, or one who does upasana like this, the Hiranyagarbha upasana, he will also, then once he dies, he will never die again, means he becomes this, he gains this Hiranyagarbha padavi. That's what. So apapunar mrityum jayati yayevam veda. So the one who yayevam veda means one who does upasana like this, after death, he wins over the mrityu, means he again does not die. He gains this particular. Okay, all the peacocks are shouting here. They come very near our home here. If I open the door, I see one whole family of them running around. Anyway, so this the person who does this upasana, he gains this phalam. So like this, Now the Shruti is actually giving an upasana here. After whatever Yajnavalkya has said, the story part is over. Up to this only. Sa Vayumeva Prashamsaha, like this. So the Gandharva would have praised the Vayu like this. Up to this only is there. Therefore, Shruti says now that Vayu is the Veshti, Vayu is Samashti, and one who does Upasana with this vision will gain this phala of winning over the death. Therefore, thereafter what? Tataha Buddhyuhu Lahyayanihi Upararama, he stopped. With this answer, he did not ask any more questions. Okay, so we'll see the bhashya quickly. Saho vacha yajnavalkyaha uvacha vaisaha vai shabdaha smaranarthaha. So the Yajnavalkya answered this Buddhyuhu, and uvacha vai means that vai shabda is to only remind that this thing happened a long back. Uvacha vai sa gandharvaha tubhyam, and the Gandharva would have definitely indeed said this to you. What? Agachan vaite parikshitaha. So these parikshita people would have gone. Where? Tat tatra kwa. Where would have they gone means yatra yasmin ashwamedha yajinaha gachanti. Wherever the ashwamedha yajinaha means those who have done the ashwamedha yajna, they would have gone. Iti nirnitaha prashnaha. Once this has been, his question has been answered like this, again this Buddhu is asking. Aha, nirnitaha prashnaha means the one whose questions have been answered like this. He now asks what? Kwanu kasmin ashwamedha yajinaha gachanti iti. Kwa nu is there, correct? Kwa nu ashwamedha yajinaha gachanti iti. That's what he asks. So where do they go? Even this ashwamedha yajis. Now Bhashyakara says tesham gati vivakshaya bhuvana kosha parinamam aha. So to explain wherever they have gone, Yajnavalkya is now also talking about the parinama, the parimana means the measure or the limits or the boundaries or the dimensions, how big it is of this bhuvana kosha, the entire bhuvana, the world as we experience, how big it is. And how big it is? Dvatrimshatam vai. Dvatrimshat means he explains dve adhike trimshat, 2 above 30, 32. Dvatrimshatam vai devarata ahvyani. So, sorry, devarata hnyani. Anh, anhi, like that is there. Then anhyani is the plural. So Deva is here, Adityaha, Tasya Rataha, Devarataha. So the chariot of Aditya is the Devarata here. Tasya Ratasya Gatya Anha. So the traveling of that chariot only creates this day, correct? One day. Yavat Parichidyate Desha Parimanam Tad Devaratahnyam. So the distance which can be traveled by this chariot in one day is called Devaratahnyam. Okay, that distance. Tad Dvatrimshat Gunitam, 32 times of that is the Devaratahnyani. Okay, Dvatrimshatam Devaratahnyani is the 32 times of the distance which this chariot of sun can travel in one day. 32 times of that. Tavat Parimanaha Ayam Lokaha. This loka is that big. Okay. And that again is the space which is surrounded by Loka Loka Girina Parikshiptaha. This is the one which is surrounded by this Loka Loka Giri, we call it. This is there in the Puranas also. In the Vishnu Purana, Bhagavata Purana and all, they talk about this Loka Loka Giri or the mountain, Loka Loka mountain. So Loka, Aloka. So Loka means this Ayam Loka is what we can experience. Okay. Now what is this Ayam Loka? Bhashyakara explains further. Whatever is surrounded by this Loka Loka mountain is this. What is that? Yatra Vairajam Shariram, the Virat, the one who has become this physical gross, physical world. He is the Virat, correct? His Sharira is this entire physical world which we are actually experiencing, his body. That is this Loka. Ayam Loka is the Sharira of Virat. Yatra cha karma phala bhogaha praninam. So that is where all of us, all the beings are enjoying the karma phala. Okay. Sa yesha lokaha, that is this loka. Yetavan lokaha, this is the, and this loka is only this much. Okay. Ataf param alokaha, beyond that is what is called aloka. Tam lokam samantataha loka vistarat dviguna parimana vistarena parimanena. So that loka is again what? That is the adjoining loka, and adjoining this loka is the aloka, which is again 2 times this ayam loka. Okay. Loka vistarat dviguna parimana vistarena. It is there. It is spread over beyond this loka. 2 times this loka. All around is another loka, which is really aloka, means we cannot experience that. And tam lokam parikshipta pariyeti prithvi, and that much is now covered by what is called the prithvi tattva. Okay, parikshipta, it is surrounded by this prithvi, that much. 2 times of this loka also, all around is surrounded by this prithvi. Tam prithivim tataiva samantam, and that prithvi also is now again adjoining that. 2 times of that, 64. Okay. Dvistavat dvigunena parimanena samudraha pariyeti. The samudra is there, samudra tattva is there beyond that. Yam ghanodam achakshate pauranikaha, and this is what is called ghanodam. Ghana udam means basically dense rainwater is called ghanodam, but here basically it is a certain principle we have to say, correct? Samudra principle that now covers the 128 times of the Devaratha, whatever it can travel in one day. Now that is the dimension of what Bhashyakara says. Tatra andakapalayoho vivara parimanam uchyate. So this is the andakapala. Whatever has been discussed up to now, up to this samudra tattva, is the andakapala. And now, so one andakapala is there like this, another is there on top of it like this. I told you, correct? Like this. Now the between them, whatever opening is there, the dimension or the size of that is being now talked about. So andakapalayoho vivara parimanam uchyate. Vivara means opening. What is the parimana of that? What is the size of that? Yena vivarena margena bahir nigachantaha vyapnuvanti ashwamedha yajinaha. So the ashwamedha yajinaha, those who have done ashwamedha yajna, they go out through this hole and then they pervade all over on the other side. So the size of that opening is being now talked about. And then further what? Tatra yavati yavat parimanaha kshurasya dhara agram yavadva shaukshmyena yuktam makshikayaha patram tavan tavat parimanaha. So this, what is that parimana? That opening, size of that opening means where it is like the edge of the razor, correct? It is that thin, okay, that small, or it is of the size of the wing of the mosquito, how thin it is. That is the size. That much is the size of that opening between the two andakapalas. Okay. Tavan tavat parimanaha antarena madhye andakapalayoho. So that is the size of the opening between the two andakapalas, and that opening is what is called akashaha in the Shruti here. Okay. So pakshikaya patram tavan antarena akashaha. So tavan antarena only he gave, madhye andakapalayoho. Akashaha means chidram, opening. So the space in between these two through which you can go, the opening, the space between the two andakapala is only this small. Tena akashene ityetat, and through that only you have to go then. Okay, these parikshita people also have to go through that. And how do they go that? Tan parikshitan ashwamedha yajinaha praptan indraha parameshwaraha. So those who have done this Ashwamedha Yajna, they are only called as Parikshita because they have basically destroyed all their papa, which can cause them dukkha, and they reach this Indra first, Parameshwara, Yaha Ashwamedha Agni Sthitaha, the one who has been, for whom you have done the Chayana through the Ashwamedha, correct? The Agni also is there. That Devata, Indraha Parameshwara, Suparnaha, Yad Vishayam Darshanam Uktam, Tasya Prachi Dikshiraha Ityadina. Okay, this Suparna, this bird is already talked about in the 1-2 again. During the Upasana only, this different, this eastern side of this bird, the western side, etc. are all talked about. How to do Upasana. That bird only, that Suparna Pakshihi Bhutva, this Parameshwara becomes the Suparna Pakshi, and then he comes and again Suparna Pakshi means Bhashyakara says Paksha Puchatmakaha, one who has the wings and the tail and all that. Okay. Suparnaha Bhutva Vayave Prayachat. So he takes these people and then gives them to this Vayu. Why? Because Murtatvat Nasti Atmanaha Gatihi Tatraiti. So the Suparna, being the one with form, cannot go through that small opening to the other side. Okay, therefore he deposits them or gives them to Vayu. Okay, then what? Tan Parikshitan Vayuhu Atmani Dhitva. So this Vayu then makes all these Parikshita people as part of oneself, himself or itself, and then what? Sthapayitva, keeping all of them as in oneself only, in himself. Swatma Bhutan Kritva, making them as part of himself. Tatra Tasmin Agamayate, he takes them there. Where? Yatra Purve Atikrantaha Parikshitaha Ashwamedha Bhavan Abhavan iti. Wherever the whoever has done Ashwamedha Yajna before, wherever they have reached, there this Vayu takes these people also. Therefore, this Vayu is to be praised. Evam Iva, why? Iva here is in the meaning of indeed. Okay. So in this manner, indeed, what? Evameva sa Gandharvaha Vayumeva Prashamsaha Parikshitanam Gatim. So he would have praised this Vayu because this Vayu only is the Gati for all this Parikshita, and through that Vayu only they have gone wherever the Ashwamedha Yajis normally go. They have gone by becoming one with the Vayu, they have gone there. Correct? So Vayu itself becomes their Gati, and through that Vayu they have gone there. And with this, the Akhyayika is over. Samapta Akhyayika. The story is over, but what? Akhyayika Nirvrittam tu Artham. So whatever meaning which has been, which we have to take from this story, correct, established by this story, Akhyayikataha Apasritya Swena Shruti Rupeneva Achaste Asmabhyam. So they, having told us all these things through the story, now the Shruti is directly revealing to us. Okay, by itself it is now revealing, not by through a story, but directly it is revealing. What? Yasmat Vayuhu Stavara Jangamanam Bhutanam Antaratma Bahischa Sayeva. Okay, because this Vayu is the Atma of all that is. Stavara means that which is stationary, Jangama means that which is moving, all the beings. Okay, it is the self of all the beings, and also it is the one which is there outside also. Bahischa Sayeva. It is there outside, it is there inside, everywhere this Vayu is the one, is the self of all beings. Because of that, what? Tasmat, therefore, Adhyatma Adhibhuta Adidaiva Bhavena Vividha Ya Ashtihi. So Ashtihi here is the Vyashti, means the individuals. So whoever is there in the form of Adhyatma or Adhibhuta or Adidaiva, okay, in this form, all the different beings who are there, individuals, Ashtihi Vyaptihi Sa Vayuhu Eva. So the Vayu alone pervades all the individuals who are in the form of Adhyatma, Adhibhuta, Adidaiva. Okay. And he is also the total, the aggregate. Tata Samashtihi. kevalena sutratmana vayuhu eva. The vayu alone is called as sutratma also, as the aggregate, as the total samashti. He is the one. So evam vayum atmanam samashti vyashti rupatmakatvena upagacchati yaha. So the one who does upasana on this vayu as the one who is there as all the individuals and also as the totality of all samashti and vyashti rupa, one who is there in this form, one who does upasana, evam veda, the one who knows. Evam veda means one who does upasana like this, in this manner. Tasya kim phalam ityaha. What is the phala for that person? Apa punar mrityum jayati, the one apajayati, punar mrityum apajayati, the one who wins over death. Means what? Sakrin mritva, having died. Punar na mriyate, he does not die again. Means he has attained this certain Hiranyagarbha padavi. So tataha atmanaha prashna nirnayat buddhyuhu lahyayanihi upararama. So having his question answered or like this, buddhyuhu stopped. He did not have any more questions to ask. So with this Brahmana is over. We'll go to the fourth Brahmana next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.